Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive sickness and disease to thriving and living life to the fullest, right smack dab in the midst of us. Everyone who has lived any amount of time on this earth for any amount of time, right? We've all experienced fear. And the thing about fear is that you don't just experience it once in life and you're done with it. You will experience fear multiple times throughout your life. It's common to man, right? If you're dealing with sickness, disease, health issues, you know what it is to face fears, especially if there's a life or death aspect attached to the disease or the sickness or the illness that you're overcoming and that you are challenged with and faced with. Even though fear is common to man, we do not want fear to control us or to lead our lives because fear has torment. Fear is treacherous. It will interrupt your sleep patterns, your eating patterns. It will change your behavior in all kind of ways. And we never want fear to come over and take control of us and lead our thought processes. Because when you are afraid and you let fear control your thought processes, you begin to make irrational, illogical thoughts and decisions. You have these irrational, illogical thoughts and you make irrational, illogical decisions. And the sad part about it is people who are in that place don't even know that their thought processes are off, that they're not walking in soundness of mind. They don't even know it. And that's what's really sad. So you never want fear to be able to take control and take over and dictate your decisions, dictate what you will and will not do in life and how far you will and will not go in life. Okay? We don't want that. So we need to learn how to rise up and stand up and move in the face of fear. We don't want to be fair weather people. And what does that mean? Well, when everything's good, the weather's good, the sun is shining, it's not too hot, not too cold, when everything is just right, then we move, then we do, then we'll live life, then we'll pursue, right? Because fair weather people never succeed. In fact, fair weather people are usually defeated, victimized, and a whole bunch of other bad things that I don't want to say because I don't want to hurt nobody else's feelings, right? If someone's hearing this, that's a fair weather person. You never accomplish anything as a fair weather person. And if you're dealing with chronic illness, sickness, and disease, and you're a fair weather person, I'm going to tell you, you ain't going to make it. I'm sorry. I can't say how long you're going to be here, but I can tell you it's going to be a long and slow death you're not going to overcome because it's never going to be fair weather. Anyone who has ever accomplished, anyone who is living their life to the fullest, they are people who move regardless of the weather, regardless of the situation, regardless of being fearful and shaking in their boots. You know, we've been in this pandemic for over a year now. And a lot of people have been living in a lot of fear. You know, if you go back and you look at the videos, what did I tell you guys all the time, the first several months of this pandemic? To not move in fear, right? That you need to know what God wants you to do, whether to wear a mask, not wear a mask, whether to go or whether to stay. Don't move in fear, move in faith. And it's likewise even in our health, right? You know, if you have a surgery and that surgery is scaring the mess out of you, don't make a decision to have the surgery based on fear, and don't make a decision to have a surgery not based on fear. We have to learn how to still be sound, make wise decisions, and move in the face of fear. Right now, several states have came out and removed the mandate to wear masks in their states. And it's amazing to me all that's being said by people all around me. When if I turn on the TV, what I'm hearing in the news rounds. Just people on all levels of life are what they're saying. And there's a lot of people, and the media is portraying it and putting it out there, a lot of people that are in fear. And what I'm hearing is, I'm afraid I don't want to die of the virus. I'm afraid I don't want to get the virus. How can they remove the mandates? We need to wear we need to wear our mask. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. Why are you afraid? Think about this logically now. If you've had people who have died all around you, people that you know that have been affected, I know people. Look, I know, okay? But we can't fear living life, moving forward in life, because of the people that we've known that have been affected or that have died all around us. It would be as to say that if you knew someone who had cancer, now you can't go out and live your life to the fullest because you're so afraid of cancer. That's irrational and illogical. Now, we've been in this pandemic for a year. There is no end game. Have you noticed that? I know they asked the president not long ago, what's the end game here? And he's like, maybe next March. There's no end game. They haven't given us anything to say this, and this, and then we'll know that we can be free to not wear masks or do whatever. I also want to encourage you to use your brains, use your minds, and think for yourself, and not to allow media to influence you or anyone else to influence you on how you should think or what something should happen. I know my governor came out and said the mandate have been removed, but he still asked that everyone still abide by the CDC, what the CDC is putting out there. And he said that our state is now open. All businesses can function and open up, and all businesses can function at 100%. At no time did he say, stop wearing masks. He left that up to you. That is your freedom. That is your right, as an American. That's what our country is based upon, liberties and freedom, the choice, the right to make the choice. It is not mandated that you have to wear a mask, but he didn't tell you to take your mask off. And so people are upset and they're saying that, all this stuff about the governor, and as if he told everybody to take the mask off. He didn't tell nobody to take the mask off. Wearing a mask is up to you. It is not mandated. Now, here's the thing about mandated and mandatory. I know we took a little turn, right? We don't need things. We don't need to give up our freedoms and our rights because we're fearful. It doesn't have to be mandated for you to do what you think is best for you. And here's something else I want to say, and I'm going to get back on fear with health and stuff, is this. If you go out and you see people not wearing a mask, it's not for you to go around and start a fight with somebody or shoot somebody or kill somebody like we experienced early last year in the pandemic because they're not wearing a mask. That's their right. Don't infringe upon their right. If you see someone wearing a mask, it's not for you to ridicule them, get all in their face, start talking crazy with them or pointing and laughing at them or talking crazy to them. Don't infringe upon their right to wear the mask. Everyone needs to sit down, pray, seek God for himself, for their self, their family, and their household as to how are they to move forward. And then respect the rights of everyone else. But we cannot be so fearful of this virus that we're willing to give up the rights that we have as citizens and people, because what will happen is you'll turn around and give up all your rights, and then one day look up and find yourself somewhere you don't want to be, and it's hard to get out of. Don't sell your birthright for a bowl of soup. Just because we have rights, all things are good, but all things are not expedient. Okay? Just because you have the right, it's not a mandate that you have to do something, doesn't mean that you don't still do it or comply with it. Does that make sense? I don't have to eat healthy. I can eat junk food all day long. However, I still choose to eat healthy. And I prefer the right to make a choice and exercise self-discipline than allow fear to drive me into something and to make it so I can't hear what's being said. The mandate saying that you no longer have to, the saying that you no longer have to be mandated to wear a mask, right? And that the city is open, that businesses can open, and we can operate at full capacity has a lot more to do with just what you think it is. We're talking economics, we're talking about business, we're talking about people being able to make it. A lot of people are looking so much at the mask that they're not looking at other statistics that are coming out about the masks as well. And everybody has to weigh what's best for them. So I'm not telling you what to do. I ain't even telling you what I'm doing. I'm telling you to do what's best for you and allow everyone else to do what's best for them. Don't allow fear to make decisions for you, because the media is going to put fear out there. The media is going to try to control you with fear. Don't get a surgery because of fear, and don't not get a surgery because of fear. Don't start taking medications because of fear, and don't not take medications because of fear, because doctors will use fear to control you, right? The world will use fear to control you, to control. When you look at marketing, it's all about fear. So don't get caught up in fear, okay? We have to learn how to rise up and not allow fear to control us. So we can look, whatever it is that's staring us in the eye that we're afraid of, and say, I'm going to move forward in spite of. So whether you stay home or whether you go, do it in faith. I'm going to talk to you about this real quick, and then we're going to call this a day, okay? In the Bible, there's a story about these 3 guys that had leprosy. A lot of times when people have fear, they end up with a victim mindset. These 3 guys had leprosy. They had every reason to have a victim mindset. They're untouchables, right? And they were starving. And there was a famine going on in the city. The city was being besieged by the enemy. And so these 3 lepers said, look, we're going to die. We're going to die. We don't have no food. We're starving. We are going to die. So they sat around and talked and decided, what are we going to do? And they said, you know what? If we stay here, it's a known fact. We're going to die. The city is besieged. If we go in the city, ain't nothing there, right? They said, well, you know what? What can we do? They said, well, we can go to the enemy's camp. Well, if we go to the enemy's camp, they're going to kill us. Or, you know what? It might be a chance they might not kill us. It might take us captives, but hey, we might get to eat. So the decision they had to make is, do we stay and die? Or do we take the chance to go out knowing that we still may die if we go out? And they decided that it was best for them to go. In the face of the enemy, in the face of fear, well, we're going to die anyway, so I might as well get up and go. Well, the story goes that they got up and went. And when they got there, the enemy had already fled, had already been gone, and all the food and all the wealth and all the booty and the loot, it was left, and they were able to eat, right? But they would have never known that if they never would have went forward. They would have never known it if they would have never went forward. So sometimes in the face of fear, you've got to go forward, because your victory is in the moving forward. When the pandemic is over, whatever that means, because they say it's a live virus, it'll never just die. So far, we have no end game on how we're going to come out of this as a nation or as a country. Even when it's all said and done, you're still going to be faced with the decision of, do I still wear a mask or do I not? You're still going to have to face that fear at some point in time. So why not face it now? Because even though people get shots, There's still people getting chicken pox. There's still people getting the measles for decades, even though it wasn't the pandemic that it once was. So even though this virus gets under control, there'll still be people popping up here and there with it and getting it. So at what point are you going to say it's okay to take your mask off and move forward? At what point are you going to say, even if I wear my mask, I'm still going to live my life to the fullest? Take your life off of hold. Don't let disease have you so fearful that you're not living your life to the fullest and you stop progressing. Don't let a pandemic have you so fearful that you stop living your life to the fullest and you standing still waiting for something to change and something to happen. I'm going to tell you, if you're waiting for change before you live your life to the fullest and you move forward and progress, you're not going to move. Because even when change happens, it may not be the change you want. So you have to commandeer your life and be a commander of change. Hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, at all times, do you. Until next time, bye.